The whole world's at your fingertips, right? You can browse the web, you can use the AI tools, you can use apps, etc. That also means it's this hub for risk. Our goal is solving that problem. How do we create this incredible employee experience, the most productive experience possible on that device where they're doing all their work, while still protecting them from those risks as well. We chose Miami because we really see this as a new frontier of development, innovation, technology. We're not necessarily the company that goes with the standard, right? We go to the edge, we go to where the future is going.
Hi, welcome to Opportunity Miami. My name is Roderick Miller. I'm the CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, and today we're pleased to have with us the CMO of Kanji, Sylvia Lapoidovine. Welcome to Opportunity Miami.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kanji is taking the world by storm.
Yes.
6-year-old company, just raised a $100 million round, over $800 million, I believe, in valuation.
850.
Oh, wow. So tell us, what's Kanji all about and what made you come to Miami?
Absolutely. So we work with Apple devices. So, you're an employee at a company, you're using a MacBook, for example. The whole world's at your fingertips, right? You can browse the web, you can use the AI tools, you can use apps, etc. And that also means it's this hub for risk too, because all of the explosive cybersecurity breaches you hear out there, many of them start with a device as well. And so our goal is solving that problem. How do we create this incredible employee experience, the most productive experience possible on that device where they're doing all their work, while still protecting them from those risks as well?
I feel like there are attacks upon attacks upon attacks upon attacks.
Yes.
How do you all stay in front of the curve? Like, what's the magic sauce that allows Kanji to be successful in protecting these devices?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of our big themes is automation. So a common issue with these breaches is just the how quickly can you resolve a vulnerability or a threat, et cetera. And so we definitely specialize in the Apple ecosystem. So we have teams of people that their entire job is staying on the curve with what's going on. We've actually found unique threats and vulnerabilities ourselves that we've shared with the community so that others can protect themselves as well. So we have teams of people doing that. And then the automation part comes in because you need to be able to resolve those as quickly as possible. You need to have your devices always in this state where everything is set up the way you want it to be. If something gets changed, you change it back to how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And so the automation piece is important because if you have an IT and security team that's trying to patch every single possible issue manually, that's what opens you up to risk. That's right. So it's actually the automation piece that not only obviously makes it easier for employees and IT and security members to manage that tool, but it also reduces your risk exposure.
That makes a lot of sense. So in terms of your clients, what's the mix? Are there certain industries that jump out more than others, or?
Yeah, so obviously the common thread is companies that use Apple, right? Yeah. And so we can sell to anyone that uses Apple. It could be a retail company with iPad or iPad devices spread across the world. It could be a tech company that all their employees use MacBooks. That's really common, actually. We've noticed this huge trend of Apple being more commonly used at work. 10 years ago, that was not the norm. Today it is. And so that market's continually growing. So that's obviously a great benefit to us. We love being able to partner with Apple and be able to take advantage of that growth as well. But yeah, that's our goal, is how do we create the most seamless experience possible on all those devices.
My team here probably doesn't enjoy me and all of the challenges that I have in terms of technology. And that's an interesting theme, I think, that we see across companies, that as you have different generations in the workforce, different levels of tech savvy, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about talent and training as it relates to tech?
Yeah, really interesting question. I think we can sort of take a page out of Apple's book a bit, right? They've created this experience that's highly advanced, but anyone can pick it up and use it and know how it works. Pick it up really easily. And so we do that with our software as well. We do that with our teams, is how do we create that Apple experience where it's very complicated under the surface, but when you're using it on the surface, it's extremely intuitive and easy to use. And this is one of the most common things we hear from our customers. And then we're trying to set up those devices as well for people to be very, very easy to use. In terms of our internal team and the technological skills that we require of the folks that we hire, that's a whole other conversation, I think, that gets into the talent pool, especially here in Miami. I know the county and the cities are doing so much to develop talent. and teach those really practical skills that people need to succeed in the workforce today. And sometimes traditional education doesn't necessarily offer those. And so I've seen, I've connected with so many groups and programs here in Miami that are doing so much to upskill folks on those key skills. AI, for example, that's just incredibly needed in the workforce today. And so I've been very, very impressed by that in my time here.
So that's a great pivot moment, because you mentioned our beloved community of Miami. You all could be anywhere. You're the cool kids, we all want to be like you, raised all this money, fast growing, on the cutting edge of tech with Apple. But you chose to grow in Miami. Can you talk a little bit about why Miami? What gets you excited about us? How does Miami stack up, and why?
Yeah, how much time do we have? There's a lot to say. So we'd wanted for a long time to open an East Coast headquarters, and we could have easily chosen New York, of course, very central hub, lots of innovation there, great city. But we chose Miami because we really see this as a new frontier of development, innovation, technology. And like you said, we're not necessarily the company that goes with the standard, right? We go to the edge, we go to where the future is going. And so that's why we chose Miami. And I've been so impressed by just how warmly the city has welcomed us, by how deep the talent pool has been here in our hiring efforts. We've connected with so many groups that have helped us with hiring and even things like permitting and schools and everything you need to build a company here. The city has welcomed us so warmly because Miami wants us to be here and we want to be here. And we feel that really strongly. And I know that's a very, intentional investment that this area has made, and it really pays off. It really shows.
How have you found talent in Miami? And talk a little bit more about the talent question. And I often say talent isn't part of the equation, it's all the equation. So talk to us a little bit about talent and how you all think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been really interesting. I think going back to sort of pre-COVID era, obviously Miami became this crypto hub, and then COVID happened, and these other hubs emerged outside of the sort of traditional New York, San Francisco locations where you had all these remote employees that were moving wherever they wanted to move. And then as folks today are being, more often called back into the office, some of these hubs are being more formalized. So the trend that I'm seeing is actually more physical presences. I anticipate in the future there will be more, local offices in Miami. But I see the talent, pool here kind of developing in that same way. There are this group of remote employees that work either for a tech company in Miami or remotely for a company in New York, San Francisco. So that's one pool of talent. But there's also this other pool of talent, like you mentioned, based on how the investments the city has made, that are local talent that's been upskilled by these programs, or local talent that has studied and is driven and wanting to get into tech because they're seeing that as a trend here and they're seeing the opportunity evolve. So it's almost like the talent is meeting the growth of opportunity as well, and the two are kind of coming together. And so that's kind of the trend that I'm seeing right now across the board. So in terms of the hires we've made so far, it's been a combination of both, of folks that may be working here remotely, and then folks who are from here and have always been looking to get into tech and have been working on the skills in order to have the right skills to do that.
Tech is one of those fields where there's kind of a cookie cutter of kind of who tech people are, or at least that's what we tend to think. Talk to us a little bit about how you got into tech and why you stayed in tech.
Yeah, great question. So I actually studied marketing when I was in college. Got a marketing internship. After that, was hired full-time at that company. I ended up kind of falling into tech because I was recruited by a tech company as employee number 12. I was the first marketing hire. I really have no idea why they hired me because I had never done that job before. But they did. I think they could just see my drive and passion for getting in and building this very early stage company. And it's a company called Flowcast. They're now valued at $1.6 billion, I think, and they're pre-IPO. So that was an incredible experience and kind of boot camp in growing a company from nothing into something. And so I was able to grow the marketing program and team there. And I was in LA at the time. Then I moved to San Francisco, worked at an incredible company called DataFox that was acquired by Oracle shortly after I joined. So that whole journey of that acquisition was such an amazing part of just some of the skills that I've learned as we also grow in our future as well. And then after that, I joined Conji. I was actually the first marketing employee there as well. I was employee number 4. This was 5.5 years ago. We had almost nothing at that point. And so it was an incredible opportunity to just sit in a room with our CRO, our CEO. We were on every sales call early on together, really deeply understanding the customer, and we were able to build now what is an incredible company around solving those challenges for our customers. And so going from 0 to 850 million and has been such a fulfilling journey, and I just can't wait to see where we take it.
Congratulations. I mean, one of the things about tech, I mean, there are a lot of different things, but tech has the reputation of being a little bit of a meat grinder. What's kept you in tech? What's the thing that you most love about being in the tech space, and what's the thing that that's the area that you would like, I wish we had a little less of this?
Tech is certainly, especially tech when you join early stage at a startup like that, incredibly challenging, incredibly rewarding as well. So you asked the question of kind of what keeps me there. It's really the building. It's the growth. It's the fact that no day is the same as the last, and you're never doing the same thing one day, and you're going one direction and then you find a new opportunity and you go that direction. So it requires a lot of agility, but it's incredibly rewarding to be able to take nothing and build something out of it. And that's what continues to keep me here, and I'll be in tech for as long as they'll have me, because it's just, you know, the most rewarding thing I could imagine doing.
And you found a tech community here that you can be a part of. I think you mentioned Pavilion?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I actually recently took over as co-chapter head of Pavilion, and Pavilion is a global go-to-market executive leadership community. And so they have chapters in London and San Francisco and Denver, everywhere. And so I took over the Miami chapter because I'm so passionate about growing the tech community here, and I want to connect everyone. I want to bring us together. I want us to be able to learn from each other. I want us to be able to share and connect with these incredible groups like Beacon Council that are here to support us. And so I'm really excited to be taking that chapter over and growing it and really connecting the Miami tech community even more than before. I think that's one of the trends we'll see in the future, is more of these community groups and ways to bring the current tech community together even more to help us all be, you know, thrive together and be as successful as possible.
If you were looking into your crystal ball, what do the next 5 years look like for Kanji?
Yeah, such a great question. So over the last 5 years, we've grown 600% from a revenue perspective. And so that growth is going to continue, of course. And so we want to continue growing. We want to continue to invest in all of our hubs, but Miami in particular, this hub for us is going to grow. We just recently opened and announced and launched this 30,000 square foot office we have in Coral Gables at the Plaza. And so we're filling that office. And eventually we're probably going to have to go beyond that. But the next 5 years from now, I'd say continued growth and particularly continued global expansion. So we have hubs all over the world, Sydney, Tokyo, London, et cetera. And so that global expansion is a major focus for us, and that's going to continue to grow. And I think Miami is an incredible gateway to that global expansion, because this is such a diverse city. And I think we can support many parts of the world, whether it's through those local presences throughout the globe or whether it's from Miami itself.
Well, that's great. So I have one last question, and I ask everyone that comes this question. So I think I have the best job in the world. My job is to sell, promote, market Miami to bring companies from around the world here. We try to do that by telling a great story, but also by being a connector to resources. Connector to resources, supporting public policy initiatives. It's a broad gamut. If you were in my role, what are the things that we as an economic development organization can and should be doing to support more companies like Kanji in moving to Miami?
Yeah, I think the main thing is something that you're already doing, and I see this, is really telling the stories of the companies that are doing it. Companies like us, right, that have chosen Miami for a reason, telling the story of why we chose it, telling the story of the hiring that we've been able to do here and the growth and expansion we've been able to have. And then the other thing that comes to mind is, like we've talked about a lot, just continued focus on talent development. How can we provide, for these companies this deep, rich, pool of talent to be able to hire and grow those companies? I want our Miami hub, 5 years from now to be this massive company that's known in Miami as an incredible employer and a place where people can go and develop their skills and work and gain experience in whatever career path dream that they have. And so I think starting from that very beginning, which I've already been, seeing across the board, is incredible.
We appreciate the investment that Kanji's made in Miami, and we're excited about the future. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rod.